The following program is an OCAmedia community-produced episode of Oregon Life, and we would like to thank our sponsor, the Oregon Brooklyn Optimist Club. We are proud to have you as a sponsor.
I think we were at a meet and we passed by this plaque on the wall, and Coach had said to me, "That is a really great cross-country coach. Like, he is one of the best." And in my mind, I thought, no, Coach, you are the greatest cross-country coach of all time. And it got me thinking that I needed to nominate him for the Coaches Hall of Fame because he really is the very, very best. And so I spent the next couple months writing and rewriting and perfecting this letter to the WIAA to nominate him for the Hall of Fame for cross-country coaches. And it took me a long time because it was really hard to find the words to explain on a piece of paper how amazing this man is and how many lives he's changed and how he changed my life. So it took a while, and I remember getting the email that they had chosen him, and I cried. I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is it. Like, he deserves this. Out of all the people I've met, Coach Debroux deserves this award because it really is one of the biggest awards for coaches. And he was really touched by that, and I'm so glad and so thankful that I did that, and I took that time to really show everybody how great he really is.
So this was during cross country. It was the second meet of the season and my first varsity meet, and I was really nervous. It was a Verona course, which is really hard, and there wasn't many, I didn't really know many people on the team yet, kind of to myself, and we all huddled up right before we were about to race, and Coach, I didn't know where he was, but then he popped up, and I was so nervous, felt sick. And then we all huddled up in a group, and he pulled out Vicks, and we all put that on. It's a little tradition. And I remember as soon as I started racing, I could hear him cheering, even though I didn't know where he was. He was in the woods somewhere, and he was just cheering, "Makira, go Makira." And I didn't know where he was, but it helped. Coach has said to me a lot of times before, "How much do you want it?" And that really can apply to anything when it comes to school, home life, working, anything. And I use that every day before a test. How much do you want it? Studying, working for track, cross country, getting something, anything.
At my first indoor track meet that I ran the 2-mile, I was so nervous, and I just remember I was warming up and Coach was running late, so he wasn't there yet, and that gave me a lot of anxiety about the race because I always like to talk to him before I race. And he came over a little bit late, and he just told me trust your winter training that you put in and trust yourself and you'll do great. And ever since then, every time I'm about to race, I just think of him telling me to trust myself and all the practice that I put in during practices and stuff. And it just helps me to get through the race and reminds me that I just have to trust the process and it'll go well. Something Coach has said to me that I've used outside of school is that laps 5 and 6 are the most important in a 2 mile, which is like right towards the end, but you're not quite there yet, but it's like after the middle. So it's like that part that's like really difficult, and it takes the most mental power. And I think it's helped me get through a lot of things mentally, and just remembering that laps 5 and 6 are the most important. Like this part of the school year, we're not quite at the end, but we're still trying to get through, and like it's helped me to like not give up on my assignments and on anything else. And everything outside of track, I'm just able to use that to get through it.
So my name is Lindsay Geyer, formerly Lindsay Cuda. I was an Oregon high school athlete with Coach Debroux from 1995 through 1999. As you know, as that anybody who's met him knows that he has the most infectious personality. So probably the most positive man you could ever imagine. So inspiring, so just so encouraging that I knew from day one that I had made the right decision to go out for cross country. So my freshman year of cross country, it was amazing. We had some amazing captains. I got to know Coach Debroux and Cheryl really well. They actually adopted their first child, Brooke, my freshman year, so we'd be carrying around Brooke at cross country meets. So it was a whole family affair for the Debroux family. So the athletes not only got to be coached by, Coach Debroux, but we also, everybody became really close with just the entire family, including Cheryl, who was always there with her clipboard. As I kind of think about kind of my experiences through high school, it wasn't even just the coaching aspect. He was my high school teacher in AP Calc as well. So got to know him in the classroom too, and we'd always joke that, I don't know anybody who could ever get as excited about calculus as Coach Debroux. He would sit there with his whiteboard, just kind of tapping his pen, and just until we got it. Brady, I've actually talked with my son Brady about it too, who coach now tutors in his AP Calculus since Brady's a junior in high school. But some of those same mannerisms and that same excitement about just everything he does, but especially running in calculus. Just really a special guy who makes those things more exciting than, of course, you could imagine. So because of his influence, both just as a coach and as a teacher, I nominated him for a UW Health Coaches Award in, I believe it was 1999. So I don't exactly remember all the details of it, but I had written an essay about why he was very deserving of this award, and we ended up getting to go to a men's hockey game because he was selected. I remember his father was able to join us and my family for this event, and I remember him at that time just recalling how special it was that his dad was able to join us. So my high school season, my senior year actually ended pretty poorly for me. I didn't do very well, but I have a picture of, my last race kind of crying on Coach's shoulder just because the season just didn't end up where I wanted it to be. But that's really not my memory of high school cross country. It's really just all the other accomplishments and all the fun times with my team and just kind of having Coach as our fearless leader. So my daughter Lauren has a genetic condition called neurofibromatosis, and my husband Ryan and I started an event now 11 years ago called Links for Lauren, and it raises research money for the NF research team at UW. I guess interestingly that group didn't exist prior to our outing, but that was kind of part of us raising funds to kind of get this important research going at the UW, since there really is no cure for neurofibromatosis. So that was it's kind of been an important part of our lives, is to hopefully someday have a cure for this genetic condition that she has. So part of this outing every year means we need a lot of volunteers. So when Mr. D. Parker found out about the outing, he decided that he wanted to start volunteering. So he volunteers, he signs up, he's like, hey, can I bring my mom and dad with me? And we said, sure, that's amazing. So here, Parker's the one that wanted to volunteer, Coach and Cheryl come to volunteer, and of course they know a million people at the event. So I think Parker was pretty surprised. So I feel pretty lucky to have had someone so influential in my life, just really from my early days back in high school. Now it's kind of come full circle now as an adult, and just that he's been able to be involved with both of my children's lives, which is pretty incredible. So it's I think back on the last 40 plus years, and I think about those people who have been really influential. And I've met a lot of people throughout these past years, having gone through, of course, school and college and medical school and residency. I've worked at UW, I've worked at SSM Health. So I've had many mentors throughout my whole life. But honestly, there is no one other than my parents, who are amazing role models in my life as well. Coach is really that person that stands out as the person who's been most influential in my lifetime.
Another thing that comes to mind that Doug did that helped to broaden the base of support in the entire program was meets were oftentimes on Saturdays, invitationals, and when kids came to school on Monday morning, there was a large set of pictures hanging in my office that every kid in school would walk by during the school day of the meet that happened that Saturday. And how that happened, there was a parent that would take pictures. Actually several did. I was the one that took a lot of them. It was a labor of love because I liked what Doug did and I wanted to support him. So, and that wasn't in the days of digital, that was the days of regular photographs. So I would take pictures and then I would go to Woodman's on the west side in Madison sometime late Saturday evening, and then I'd go back Sunday and pick them up, take them to Doug's house, he'd mount them on a board. And it was interesting to watch the crowd of kids that grew around that, and not just runners, but other kids that would gather around those pictures from the previous meet. And that leads me to think about one of the big meets we had at home. It was a triple duel with Verona, Monroe, and Oregon. All three boys teams were undefeated, and the girls were also strong challenges for a conference championship. That meet was the last one of the year for the conference championship, and it was held at Foxborough. There was a crowd of over 500 spectators there. I've seen lots of other high school athletic events that do not have 500 people, but cross-country meet that drew 500 people. And it was raucous. I mean, the kids were cheering and yelling and following the runners, and there was a big banner on one of the houses that was along the edge of Foxborough. So Doug did the coaching, but as part of the coaching, he also helped kids to develop the values that would make them good citizens. And he did that by being a great role model, was one of the first ways. And he was an excellent role model in the classroom and coaching cross country and track, in the hallways and just around the community, and a real leader. And he made kids stronger as people. For example, to get kids ready emotionally for a meet, he taught them relaxation breathing. That's a skill that can be beneficial throughout your entire life, depending upon what you're doing. And in most cases, most of us can use that. I'd say in my case, I could use it more than I do, just because it brings a level of relaxation and contentment when maybe somebody's feeling a little anxious about something or worrying about something, and that happens to all of us. And Doug had a great impact. Another thing, I sought out another high school or cross-country parent before I came down here, and I asked her just for a few comments, and the first one she made was very poignant. She said Doug was the best introduction to high school that her kids could have had. She had two that ran cross country. And that's a powerful statement, because having worked at the high school doing 9th grade orientation, those kids come in scared, because kids make all sorts of comments about what's going to happen. Most of them don't, by the way. But with cross country starting early, and the concept of team and everybody to be included, there was a base of support for those 9th graders as they walked the halls. There was always another cross-country runner around that would readily help them and take care of them. I think of an example. Doug used to have an alumni meet, and the alums would come back because they loved to come back and see Doug and be part of the program. And one of them, Jake Olkey, who had been a state-level runner, was an alum. He came back, he had finished the race. My son was way out that way, one of the last ones coming in and struggling. And Tim did not want to walk. So Jake went out and greeted him, and he ran with him the rest of the way in. That's the kind of thing that Doug built in his program. And that's beyond value in what happens with young people. And Jake Oakey and many, many others are still really, really fine people, but that was a very moving moment in what happened for my son's cross-country career.
Guy.
How are ya?
Yeah, I'm good. And you're gonna say a few words too. But he was my distance coach. Did a tremendous job. Is still doing a tremendous job. And we had quite a team. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, we did.
Yeah, you
You're
bet.
a great leader. You know?
No.
So.
Well, it was a lot of fun. That's
Yeah,
why.
it was.
It was a lot of fun. So,
It was good.
we hope. How are your kids gonna? Do you think they'll do tonight?
Good, good.
Oh,
We've got